is I'm trying to look cool at the moment. So now I've had these headphones forever. They came with my Line 6 amp, and but it's just so that I can hear everything that's going on properly. There's no actual real reason for me to wear the headphones at the moment, except for that I have a microphone and it's gonna pick up everything double. That's the addition I got. Okay, well anyway, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, congratulations. And if you're new, subscribe, or else I'll never be found again. I'll be cursed to the dark abyss, banished, and it will break elf queen heart. So come to Twitch, watch me live, participate, get me into the affiliations. SM57. I've had this for a couple years. It's a great mic. It pops like crazy, so you can pick up all the low end of your voice like nuts. Makes it feel like you got the cones right there. We're gonna talk about and I really hope that guitar sound hasn't been bugging you too much. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce the beginning of this channel with a very heart-filled bit of guitar soloing action in the drum beat that I love the most on my built-in amp here. I don't use it right now for the rest of my channel's ability. Here we go. Let's just get into it right now. Introduce us to the channel. Sorry. All right, let's get to work. Let's get to work. Start with something light, something there to flick the pick. Grab all the strings. Let it ring. Let's bounce it around. Okay, let's do this. Ready? I really think that went quite well. I like that a lot. That felt really good. That was some hip-hop action. Bit of stylized guitar playing that I went with. Anyway, so we got another option here. I got an idea. And I really like this idea. I'm going to record a bit of a backtrack for you, and then I'm going to solo over it and see if you like that. You like it? Make a comment. I might make the whole video out of it, add it into line, the series of everything else that I've done so far. right, I'm almost certain that one got really recorded on there. Let me hear it. I'm gonna have to wait a second so I can catch it up with the latency that should be going on. It would seem I didn't have anything on there. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me for that one. That was a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. I must have had the switch turned off. Let's try that again. All right. So let's hear that. Okay, let's see if that works now. All right, yeah. Okay, so that's what we got going on there. That's my favorite beat that comes preloaded in the Line 6 Spider series. Now they have a Line 6 Spider series and it's got all the effects, but this is the Spider Jam, so it comes with all of Line 6's favorite backtracks and whatnot. That's the one I use for the opening scene sequence. Anyway, so now that we're done with that, I'm gonna tune my guitar quickly, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some extra stuff here. I'm gonna turn my back on you. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, this is for YouTube. I know I do it on Twitch. So we have the time now to talk about some of the stuff that happened on YouTube. I'd like to bring up what some of the songs were inspired by, maybe that'll help, I don't know. Anyway. Then how are you supposed to inspire that to your own generation? So apparently I was talking during the part where I was to play, and you couldn't hear anything I said. So anyway, I was talking about how I used to be quite the exercise aficionado. I was exercising a lot during spring and summer. The art of boxing, the great art of boxing, the sport of boxing. And I was getting my inspiration from a lot of the other boxers in the world, of history's past and current, future, present. Because if you don't have your own generation inspiring you, how are you supposed to inspire your own generation? What are you going to inspire the old dudes? You can't really do that, right? Anyway, that's I got a big picture of Muhammad Ali. Hang on. Right there, a ginormous picture of Muhammad Ali standing above Sonny Liston right next to my workspace here where I'm always thinking. And I was inspiring each track in my hip-hop metal series. I am at number 32 now, that's quite a lot, by a new set of fighters. Typically, I inspire it with like the victor, whoever wins, typically. I consider it their fight if they win, right? Because it's their fight, right? But it's not necessarily their fight. Sometimes it's the other person in the ring that kind of makes the fight, depending on the fight it is. So most of them were inspired directly from a handful at a time, one or two at a time. You know, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather. You know, really big heavy hitters. People who are recognizable. So anyway, so I decided I would come up with a way to inspire a certain guitar chord. This is like, say, an A major, right? And I play an A major chord. I want it to stand out the most. So when I stand out the most, I try to think about, while I'm soloing, I structure my movements towards like the aim of where this victory took place, in a sense, you know what I mean? And the more this victory took place there, the more I relate it back to who it was that won that fight, in a sense, right? Like a killjoy or a victory lap, but not necessarily. I would stylize it. I hit the whammy bar a lot, like, you know, win with pride kind of concept. So I decided to hit the whammy bar very gently, just giving it a little bit of a yeah, just a little tap on the bottom, so to speak. It gives it that extra vibrato sense, because it's a vibrato, right? But if you don't tap it, like, you're not getting the vibrato of the bar or anything like that. So I decided that I would stretch out some of the details as to who won this fight and how they won this fight, right? And typically I figure that if you were to run way down the line to like, you know, who carried the fight, so to speak, Muhammad Ali or George Foreman. Some even believe it was George Foreman that carried the fight because he kept coming at him, right? For the Rumble in the Jungle. I mean, that's a major, major deal. Anyway, so that does it for the way I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a little bit more of that later. It's mandatory on this channel. We got to talk about fight history. It's just a bit of the world that you got to get involved with. Buster Douglas has a rhythm that would blow your pants right off if you ever caught him in a fury. You know what I'm saying? It's something you got to hear, you got to know about to get the art form or else you'll just be a guy standing in front of a heavy bag thinking, what am I doing with my life? And it's like, you don't want to think, what am I doing with my life? You want to know what you're doing with your life so you know what you're doing. Anyway, that sums up the first quarter of this video. I'm going to actually flick over to Easy Drummer here, and I'm going to open up a nice drum track, and I'm going to look for a brand new beat to play along to, and I'm going to try to, my very best to, make it sound all right, at least. There's no promises. Sometimes it's just a utter mess and utter chaos, but sometimes something amazing comes out of there. Wow, hey, thanks for the comment here. Well, it's like rock, but it's definitely hip-hop styled, right? And if you can hip-hop style play, you got to use a rock drum set all the time, so yeah, so it complicates things. Anyway, thanks so much for the comment there. It's very nice of you. So I'm just gonna, this is for YouTube, I'm talking so much, here. Anyway, I got a groove track here, a bunch of grooves that I can choose from. Now, I like this already. I know it's a little weird to just grab one and play along with it, but I'm going to just grab one and I'm just going to start playing. I feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. But I'm going to have to take my my headphones out. There we are. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear the drums while I play. So here we go. I'm gonna play us a new style of hip hop metal in a rock pattern. I'm gonna play it. That sounds real good to me. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it up a little so I can play. All right, I'm gonna put the mic down, and I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna stand back so you can see. Right, so that was a brand new track. It's called a hi-hat tight edge. I'm not sure if it's any decent, if it sounds any good yet. I'm just gonna move my screen over for everyone. Is in the video, let me see here. Is it? Oh, a gentleman. Alvaro Winston B, thank you so much for following. Very cool. Anyway, so this is Easy Drummer. It's one of those things where like how do you put it? It's like a garage band, right? But it's expensive and it costs like $200 or something. But it just came out this year, 2023. They updated it to Easy Drummer 3 from Easy Drummer 2, and they have entirely new rooms. So they got, this one's called the Bright Room, and they got the Tight Room. So everything's muted, which is kind of interesting, and I think that would make a really badass hip-hop sequence. This one's so classic, the main room. It scares me. I don't like, classical music scares me, you know. So I'm gonna play the same track on the tight drums, and let's see what happens here. Let me see. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, that sounds really relaxed. I like that idea. All right, let me see here. All right, so that was this new drum set. You know what? I don't want to say it because the other one's like a professional drum set, but this one had so much more groove in it. It was just muffled a little. I don't know what to say there. It kind of took the cake. It's almost disappointing because I had very limited resources left after I heard that couple fills in the middle of it. Whatever resources I'm supposed to be talking about, yeah. So, anyway, so that concludes that little bit of hip-hop guitar soloing. And you know what? I'd like to consider another concept of heavy metal and what it is that what drives a real heavy metal person in music writing. It's typically the simple things in life, you know, getting carried away, finding confidence in something, like when you're reading a book and you like think, oh shit, I remember something else, and you just like slam the book down and you run out the door and you gotta go and like, I don't know, you gotta buy a bag of candy or something, like, you know, the stuff like that really drives your life forward in a sense. You know, not forward, but definitely away from forward sometimes even. That's the stuff that drives, you know, heavy metal. So you want to bring that inspiration in, and that's where the real drum set's coming in handy with that. But I do have the built-in one. I use this beat. You might recognize it from the alert sequence. And this beat is on my YouTube channel. I got over 32 using this simple beat on the built-in box here, and it's an ongoing progress. I want to organize to at least have 60, maybe 70 of them before I'm sure that I'm just gonna put it down for a while and consider any other options. But other than that, I'm gonna be doing the streams here to develop some new tactics. So I will be watching over this myself once, at least in the end of the night, and I'll be picking out parts of it that I think I like and then parts of it that I think I don't, and I'll finally make a final product, and I'll put that up on YouTube right away, and it'll become a new piece. It'll be titled Rock with Sambongo. That's me, Sambongo. Anyway, so this is my nice guitar. I'm gonna have to show you here. with a Schecter. A Schecter is this new brand of guitars. It's fairly new. It's not that new, but it's fairly new. It comes from the Diamond series. It's a C1 exotic. A little bit expensive, but I paid that off a little while back. So I got a bunch of new stuff. I was a little bit more guerrilla warfare beforehand, where I was just an amp and a camera. But right now we're going to be doing with an entire computer setup. And anyway, let's talk about some of the other things that gets people going. What's the things that you need? And the thing you need in life the most, I'm going to have to put the guitar down. All right, I think you can still hear me now. It's gonna give me a minute. I have to take a minute to see if I can. I gotta fix my mic. So I shouldn't have been moving it around so much because I had to re-solder it back together. Yep. That's so frustrating. Anyway, I think that does it. I think I turned it down too. That's what. I'm gonna turn this off and see if I can hear any audio. And now, it should be off from the mic. So. Perfect. So back to this book. This is R.L. Salvador. He wrote all the Dungeons and Dragons. You know what Dungeons and Dragons is? It's a little game with board games, and people tend to drink a lot to it. So what I was thinking was, what's the one book that you would pick up and go, whoever read this was remembering some of the best times in their life, or some of the craziest times, right? So I was just like, I pick up this Dungeons and Dragons book and let's read it for a bit. It has some kind of mud wrestle for the first 5 pages, ends up in a clock tower, and there's like a giant orc monster or a squid monster of some sort. It was really creative, really weird. It makes you think, what could a victor, what can an actual champion in life do to have to be related back to something that's completely whimsical and legendary and mythical and whatnot? Sorry. So of course, Floyd Mayweather, there's nothing he has to do to prove himself. He's proved himself. He's an undefeated champion. And he's fought so many, right? So there's nothing he has to do. So the hardest part about putting it together is putting together his challengers. And what challenges a person that is completely complex in this case? What inspires his dream and what keeps his dream from being inspired? So, you might find yourself fighting off an entire person's career worth of intelligence. I don't know if it's intelligence or if it's just, intel. You know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff that they do, and that's the big secret, the heads up and whatnot. But you can't necessarily, how do you put it? You can't just play the guitar over and over and expect to get better at it. You can get better at it with your hands, and your fingers can grip it better. But if you don't literally consider the next time you move your hand differently than the last time you moved it, just like in the organization of everything, you didn't You didn't build anything before you got there. And once you get somewhere, you're going to hope that there's like a store, there's a door, there's a room, there's a staircase, there's a floor, there's a ceiling, there's a roof, windows, a way out, a way in, persons or animals. You're going to need a place. So then I realized that it's like building a setting. And I've been to so many places, why can't I just build a setting over and over again? So if you build a setting over and over and over again, and every time you hit that chord, you hit a new setting, eventually you'll just make a sound, and that setting has a sound, and if you return to that setting, you're going to expect that sound. That's where patterns start to develop, and in hip-hop, we like our patterns. So the best part about it was finding a pattern that you could keep in a respectable hip-hop fashion. Now, there's not every dragonborn and every barbaric heavy metal person has fit this description, especially not if they're, if they're kind of reluctant to the existence of change and whatnot, because hip-hop changes quite a lot. Once you get the motion repeated enough, it takes a violent jerk just to shake it out before you can move on to the next setting. And if you don't have a setting that you can raise and elevate, maybe you just didn't have anything that happened in that setting. And now you have a real setting. You see, if nothing happened once you got somewhere and you end up somewhere and it's behind you, what you're going to be looking for is a design of character. A lot of people believe in religion, Jesus and whatnot. No offense. But I have to keep it away from what I'm doing so much that I like to use like ancient mythology. No, you can think like using, or what are they called? Composers like Beethoven, Mozart, Johann Sebastian Bach, Vivaldi. Those are the big ones. And of course, artists and stuff. But instead of the composers, I would actually consider using something more like Cleopatra, or Napoleon, who was evil, or Hitler, who was very evil, or President Nixon, who was a lesser evil, or JFK, or John A. Macdonald, the first Canadian Prime Minister, or our current stuff, right? So if you find those situations pop out, you got to find a way to make other situations pop out. So you're going to start looking for the setting of each of those characters. Now you look at Beethoven and Mozart and you go, hang on, what did they do with each other? Beethoven started to write music with Mozart. So Mozart invited Beethoven to come and write with him, and then he became better Beethoven. But you can't really look at Beethoven's music until you realize that he started writing it with Mozart. And then you look at Mozart, and you don't realize that he's real until you realize that Beethoven started to produce music with him. So drawing inspiration from your favorite heroes like Floyd Mayweather's and Mike Tyson's and famous actors, your Channing Tatum's and your Harvey Everstein's. That's gonna, it's gonna help you creatively. That's where your setting comes in place, right? But it's not gonna help you with a story of what happened, because they already happened, and they're putting stuff behind them. That's where the complication comes in. And so what we're gonna look at is new ways to put stuff behind us. I'm gonna move this over just again. I'm gonna open up. This is the tight room. Now, I've been kind of worried about using the tight room for quite a while, because I want to use some double kicks. Ooh, yeah, I really like that one. I really like some of these. These are pretty nice. Okay, I'm gonna open it. Don't save it. And I'm going to move, I think it's this one. That's insane, right? Do you hear that? It's craziness. That's chaos. I don't know what's going on. But we're going to jam out. Hang on. I'm having a hard time getting the Easy Drummer on the screen. Oh, because I didn't do it this way. No, I'm kind of new to this internet streaming thing. Alright, so, Easy Drummer is right there. And now I'm gonna try a brand new drum kit style. And we're gonna put that other story behind us. And I might change it from hip hop to heavy metal or rock and roll right in the middle of it, and we'll see how that goes. All right. I like that. That kind of rocked. You know what? Tight Room might have kind of won me over here. I'm supposed to be on the Bright Room. I'm going to show you one more time what the Bright Room looks like and at least why I'm supposed to be on the Bright Room here. Like, this is the Tight Room. Really simple. You look like if you were inside a studio or like a guitar store or a music store. And then you got the Bright Room, and it looks like you're in an actual studio or a factory even. And you got some real kicking beats here. Let me hear that. That really kicks. That kicks like a mule. Anyway, so that felt really good to do in a Tight Room, and I might keep it that way. I might actually end up doing it in a track that I'm going to take a look at it over tonight, and I'll come up with a mix of all of it, and I will make a brand new one, and I'll put it on my channel, YouTube, the Sambongo Dragon. And of course, that was so that was like basically the last of what I was really thinking of what to do. Other than that, if you are still watching, be sure to subscribe hit the like button on anything and everything on my channel. Make as many comments as you can. Follow me on Twitch, and look in store for the next stuff. Just the usual, it's something that helps you out. Literally, one guy has been liking me the whole time up. Just one extra video here and there, getting a like button. It's just, it's a vast improvement. It helps me. It's almost like a dosage. It's pretty good for me, it seems. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the music soon enough, just before we sign off here, because my Twitch stream will have to end soon enough. I might switch over to streaming some video games or something on the same channel. So if you see this channel going live again, it's probably because I might be playing some video games. I don't know. I got a camera that might charge. I got the potential of using this webcam. Now, this webcam I designed right in the middle here. I set it so that if you were ever to feel like you wanted me to interrupt my series of information, you could simply interrupt me at any moment and ask me to shred a guitar solo for you, specifically custom or anything. I'm also looking forward to talking about some of the video games that come out. Now, video games are a huge inspiration in my life because I've always played video games, man. It's just the way it is. Video games have always been there. A lot of my friends have all been about playing video games. Video games are a perfect art form. Anyway, so this is my Oscar. I'd like to accept this award on behalf of anyone who's ever played a video game and decided they want to be more like that and less like something that they didn't like to be, and made a healthy choice instead of learning how to bully people or learning how to shut down. But I maybe not be perfect, but there's always the ability to take a lesson from compassions you have found in life. You know when you see a dog and you go, oh, it's so cute. You know, that compassion in your life might be re-inspired, and if it's strong enough in you, it might alter your decisions. It's not perfect, but it might help you out in the future. Anyway, let's talk about some of the music, eh? What do we have? We got like Five Finger Death Punch. They made like 3 new albums in the last... They've been consistent, right? An album every year, and pretty big ones too. We got like... Jared Dines released his first album. If you don't know who Jared Dines is, he's the biggest YouTube guitarist in the world. He's a badass. But he released an album, and he made one with Scion, and he's working on Scion's album number 2. And his album was actually really good. The Gray, you got to listen to it. It's a badass album. I could probably show you on my phone. Here, you see it? It's that one right there. The gray one. To the leftish. Well, anyway, it's a really good album. He did a masterful job on it. And Scion 2 is coming out, the next album, with him and I think his name's Harvey. He's from Killswitch. God, I forgot his name again. Anyway, we also got some other bands that happened. Do you know who Wage War is? Wage War is a great band. They had a lot of cool stuff going on. But I got stuck on their older album, just still trying to figure out what they was talking about. I don't know if everyone believes in this kind of concept, but the metal strings, they tend to reflect light. And light being reflected is kind of like sound being created. Because sound comes from vibrations between things, but light comes from refraction, right? Now, it comes from energy. But you can't see the light unless it's bouncing off of things, right? So it comes from refraction of things. So it's kind of like light and vibrations have to coexist, and yet matter doesn't have to exist, because light can exist and vibrations can exist. So if a fake vibration of like dark matter in space starts to happen and light actually meets it for the first time ever, it would create like a rip in time, creating an inverted suction that meets heat with force, and it would be like a flamethrower from every direction, creating a black ball of sun combusting the very essence of carbon and matter and any form of raw matter, and cell splitting of just ions and electrons, the very tiniest amount of things, and it would explode. That's at least the theory of whatever it is. Anyway, so that kind of information I pick up from listening to like Wage War. The way their guitar is played, it's like it's like if he's just like a scientist about it in a sense, right? So of course, it's nice to pick up other inspirations that we can along the road. And I like to pick up my biggest inspirations from like Resident Evil. They made a TV show. Lance Reddick was so cool as Wesker. He was freaking hilarious in the last episode. I don't know what happened. I can't wait. They must get a recontract soon or something because it was such a good show. It was so great. I know there were young 14-year-old girls, right? That was probably kind of awkward. But you got to get over that. It's not like you're going to sit there and like whack it to them. That was rude. I'm sorry. But anyway, it was a great show. They had a giant caterpillar and they had a giant alligator. It's literally got everything. And so of course there was The Last of Us that came out, and The Walking Dead just finished up, and they draw a lot of inspiration. So inspiration is important, but it's got to be the stuff that gets you moving, or else you're never going to get writing. So that basically concludes this episode. I'm just going to talk a little bit longer. So if you feel like leaving the video, this is where I'm going to say, don't do drugs, stay in school, read a book, be otherwise respectful to everything around you and anything you can. In fact, the more you do respect like that, the more respect will do it to you. And sometimes respect is wrong, right? It's selfish. But that's going to help you in the future. I know that for a fact. So anyway, welcome aboard, our new follower. I can't wait to see if you make a comment or a post or a like on any of my old videos on my YouTube channel. And if you do, I'll be willing to put your name up on the next video, because I figured out, I just bought this PC. It's a computer. I never had a computer before this, right? I have, but I didn't before this one, at least. Maybe way back. Okay. So, of course, I'm just learning how to do this stuff where, like, you can move screens around and stuff. That's crazy. You can just click a screen, like, and move it. It's ridiculous. Okay. Well, anyway, this is Twitch. Twitch has many other people on it. There's a lot of really beautiful women on Twitch. Oh my God. You just look at them for a second and you just fall in love. They're very energetic about things too. So of course, don't let your inspiration be overshined by your impulses, because you have to have respect for those women. You can't just you can't just gawk at them and expect to give them money. Like, even giving the money is a little bit funny, right? Earn your moment to do that, right? Anyway, so anyway, I'm gonna play a little tune in the background from my jam. Turn the volume down a little. That's awesome. Anyway, give me a minute here to sign off for the rest of this. I'm gonna play my guitar some more, and I'm gonna come up with some inspiration moments that hopefully I can keep. Oh, I hit it with my tail in a sense here. I tend to do things like that. I'm a little bit chaotic in that way. But anyway, I'm gonna flick to something here quickly. Rest in peace, our champion, our one true hero, the one and true and only god of boxing, king of warriors, Muhammad Ali. And Sonny Liston, you're looking like a beast. And of course, let's give thanks to all of the rock and roll gods out there. The gods of rock and roll do exist. They're constantly forcing the aurora borealis into projection, and they're reversing gravity into aquatic sways for our little blue orb in the sky that we have no consciousness of. And so, of course, thank you to those who have projected their abilities onto the rest of the world. And finally, I will see you guys in the next episode. It's been great. This has been the Sambongo Dragon. That is me. I am Sambongo. And rock with Sambongo real soon. See you soon. Thank you guys. Bye.